Okay, so Becky being injured and suspended, there's talks about adding Charlotte to the Ronda Rousey-Becky Lynch match, therefore making it should be the last match to go on, but we'll find out when the event happens. To make it a triple threat for the Raw Women's Championship. Is Charlotte an amazing athlete? Yes. Has she done enough to warrant being in a spot like this? Yes. Is she necessarily needed in this spot? No. I look at WrestleMania from the women's side if you're going to have effectively 4 matches. You've got 3 titles and your big battle royal. So currently, you would have Asuka as your SmackDown champion. Who will she face on SmackDown? We're already assuming that Sasha and Bayley will, by that time, be the tag champs. They could not win at the Chamber, but then win at Fastlane, because you have Chamber, Fastlane, then Mania. Okay? So we'll assume that they're taken care of. Their dance card's full. If you put Becky, Charlotte, and Rousey in a match, all of a sudden now your top, effectively 6 women are already involved in matches. It makes more sense instead for Charlotte to go after Asuka. Charlotte, Asuka 2. Charlotte needs to be like, you beat Becky. I've beaten you at WrestleMania. I will beat you again, and this time I'm taking your title to become a 7-time champion and fully cement my legacy as the greatest women's athlete of all time. Super easy story. Could she go after Rousey? She could go after Rousey and do the exact same story. However, we will have seen Rousey have singles matches with Charlotte, Sasha, Bayley. The only singles match she really has left that have any real marquee value, Lynch, Asuka. The only reason the Asuka match can make sense is if Asuka successfully defeats Charlotte. Because then if they decide to have Rousey switch to SmackDown, which they might do because of Fox, you could then do Rousey Asuka. And then you would have a person who's defeated Becky Lynch, defeated Charlotte, take on a person who technically won a match against Charlotte, has defeated the other horsewomen, but lost to Becky. And that would make a really nice, because then you'd have the 2 top-tier female wrestlers who haven't faced each other. So I think that Charlotte makes a better chance going with Asuka. But now, who should take on for the women's belt? I've got 2 ideas in my mind. One makes sense from a mainstream perspective, which of course would be the Bellas. I think that Banks and Bayley versus the Bellas, it works well on mainstream paper. I think for a smart crowd, if you do NXT Sky Pirates, like Sky Pirates, which would be Io Shirai and Kairi Sane, taking on Sasha and Bayley for the women's tag belts, and I make it your white hot opener. I make it that match that just sets the tone for the night. I think if you do those 3 matches, where you have Becky and Rousey go on last as a main event, because there's really no other feud with enough fire to truly go on last, I would have almost your middle of the card match be Sasha and Asuka, or maybe Charlotte and Asuka. I put the middle of the card so then the crowd is still pumped, but I wouldn't try to give them too many just hot matches after another, because they'll get burned out. So that means then you'll have at time 0 you would have your Bayley Banks versus Sky Pirates match, and then midway point would be 3 hours in, so you'd have your Asuka Charlotte match, and then at about hour 7 is when you would have your Becky Rousey match. I would probably throw in at least enough filler between what'll probably be Rollins Lesnar to give the crowd some time to just kind of just relax. I would probably put in a cool down match, which they don't like doing. That's where I would definitely throw in a cool down match. Would be right there. So I don't want Charlotte to be involved in that match with maybe a triple threat. I think you get a much more iconic. And yes, people are going to say, "Boy, about that time that Triple H and Shawn Michaels took on that other dude, and it was this huge romantic triple threat match that main event of Mania." Yes, you can do a great triple threat match at Mania. You can main event triple threat at Mania. That's what happened with Rollins, Reigns, and Lesnar. But when you look at the really big iconic matches, it was Hogan, Andre. I guess now it would be Hulk and Andre. It was The and Stone. It was The and Hulk. Those are those big matches people remember. When you watch the Then, Now, Forever bit, what they're showing is singles matches. And that stare down moment. It's Shawn Brett. It's that moment where two people are face to face and they just go to town on each other. That's that moment that the E can really capitalize and do well, because you can frame a shot easier with two people than they can with three. So I would put Charlotte and Asuka. Otherwise, Asuka's got virtually no one to take on. Who's you going to take on? Lacey Evans? Nikki Cross? Are they going to build those people up enough in the next 3 months to be worthy of taking on Asuka? John to be Carmella, Naomi, Sonya Deville. Sonya Deville won't be a bad match with her. Mandy Rose, the Iconics. None of them are in a position to be truly a challenge for Asuka, except from Charlotte. So I would say you take this wonderful collection of talent you got. Don't put all of your eggs in one basket and then have one basket like, it's not going to be a great match, but it'll be fine. Instead, spread that out and have 3 out of your top 4 matches be women's matches. Because with given the opportunity, like they've shown in the past, they will rise up and they will snatch all of those brass rings.